Welcome back, Truth Seeker. This is going to be a quick stream. Didn't really pay that much attention to hockey this year, but there might be something that stands out to you about this Stanley Cup Finals in light of what we've been talking about since March. And that was big football news in March. You had Russell Wilson going from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos in Colorado, where the Avalanche are. And then when the bracket came out for college basketball, that was the 83rd March Madness bracket. Minutes after the bracket came out, Tom Brady announced he was coming out of retirement. And that was 5 days after Russell Wilson went to Colorado. And we said, isn't it interesting that the very first game of the March Madness tournament will be Michigan versus Colorado State? That was the very first game of March Madness, and of course, Michigan won that, and it had a nice little goat ritual to it. We were talking about all this back in March. And so the Stanley Cup, it ends up being, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, and Colorado. And what I didn't know about this Avalanche team is that it's owned by Stan Kroenke, who also owns the Los Angeles Rams. And of course, Stan Kroenke won the Super Bowl this year with the Rams on February 13th, 213 in the 213 area code. And notice now he wins the Stanley Cup with the Avalanche that he also owns June 26th, 133 days later. Again, if you're new here, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. I didn't realize this before the game, but I just heard him talking about it after the game was over. Congratulations to Stan Kroenke, who won 2 championships this year. And I thought, really? So I had to look right away. And as soon as I looked, I just grinned in moments. I said, look at that. 133 days from the Super Bowl to him winning the Stanley Cup. And his name in gematria. Again, if you're new here, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. Stan Kroenke equals 133. Wins the 2 championships 133 days apart. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, so if you make Z1 and you count back to A is 26, both Colorado and football equal 133. Colorado and football also equal the same thing forwards. They both equal 83, kind of like how the Broncos Stadium burned on the 83rd day of the year, Peyton Manning's birthday, the old face of the league before Tom Brady, born on 8-3. But, yeah, what a ritual. Football wins the Super Bowl. And remember the last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl, they lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots in Super Bowl 53, and the score was 13-3, kind of like 133. LA equals 13. 16 points scored in Super Bowl 53, 53 the 16th prime number. But again, if you are new here, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. Just notice how Colorado and football overlap, and also Stan Kroenke, where he fits in. And he's currently 74 years old, which is a magic number. All the American sports are credited to Masons, the word Masonic, just using the most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. Masonic, occult, English, Gematria, Jewish, they all equal 74. And again, Gematria comes from Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, so it's all related. Holidays 74, the nation's birthday 74. The list goes on. Energy 74, sports all about energy. So, yeah, I mean, same owner wins 2 championships in a perfect ritual. And then the other thing that jumps out about this is you see how it's 19 weeks? Again, it's the Jesuits who run all of this. Today is 26/6, like 266. And if you write out the Jesuit motto, Isus hominum salvator, equals 266. And again, we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, the 266th Pope, who spoke in Washington, D.C. in 2015 on the 266th day of the year, September 23rd. Well, that word Isus, which is the Roman way for Jesus before J's were invented, Isus hominum salvator is the Society of Jesus' motto, Roman Catholic Church, Latin, the language of Rome. Isus equals 19. So exactly 19 weeks later on 26/6. And it was synced up with Super Bowl 56, where Society of Jesus equals 56, Pope equals 56. So again, the Pope, the first Jesuit Pope, the 266th Pope, like we talked about, the Super Bowl and the college championship, which both connect with Matt Stafford in Georgia, synced up with the Pope. This is synced up clearly with the Pope. The NBA Finals was just synced with the Pope. It's just, It's undeniable what they're doing, but that sometimes it can still be tricky to decode. I was not aware of this thing for Stan Kroenke, and I was thinking by default, since the Tampa Bay stayed alive in the last game, that it would probably go to Game 7 because that was on the day leaving 179 days left in the year, and that's been a number we've talked about the last 2 years with Tampa Bay Lightning winning because Tampa Bay Lightning equals 179. So this year it didn't go there, but it's Colorado's year, but it seems that it's more about Stan Kroenke. So I was thinking tonight that there'd be at least one more game and get to that number that we've talked about again the last 2 years, and that's why this knowledge is awesome because you'll win the majority of times, but then sometimes it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth because like, man, I've won with that number and now I lose with it. So anyway, but again, it's having enough pieces of the puzzle. I did not know that Stan Kroenke owned both teams until I heard him say it after they congratulated him. And but again, I mean that's also the beauty of the knowledge. You're mad about the loss, but then you take it and you say, okay, well, I know something, and it reminds me like there's always more. Owners have been so misleading to me. They're not normally the thing I look at in sports decodes, but in this case, the owner obviously has a lot to do with it, and might be smart to go through and see what owners own multiple sports teams, because this probably won't be the last time you see a ritual like this in your lifetime. So, again, these people are very repetitive. But here's the other thing I want to point out. So in the last game, Game 5, it was amazing because it was on Freemasonry's birthday. And I want you to see this about the Jesuits and the Masons. So out of the 4 ciphers, the most pure cipher is this one right here, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Colorado equals 38 in the most pure cipher. It's also the 38th state in order of statehood. And today, the game is 38 days before Tom Brady's upcoming birthday on August 3rd, a date that can be written 8-3 or 3-8. With the most simple cipher, Colorado's 83. With the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it's 38. And again, we talked about the 133. That's when you run it in reverse. But today's 38 days before Brady's birthday. But the last game was perfectly synced with Brady and Freemasonry's birthday, where the series became 3-2. Now notice the word America equals 32. The word Scottish equals 32. The 7/4/1776 was a date with 32 numerology, the establishment of this nation. The Jesuit logo is the sun with the letters IHS and 32 sun rays. And the Tampa Bay Rays, they were beat by the Dodgers, who got their first championship in 32 years. Okay, so we've talked about this, the Rays, sports, the rituals, but Scottish and America both 32. The nation's capital in D.C., where the Jesuits have been longer than the Masons or the Feds. Modern Freemasonry, which includes the Scottish Rite, which was created by the Jesuits. All of these things are related, but the day that the series became 3-2, think about how it came in 3-1 on Freemasonry's birthday. Tampa Bay won to stay alive, and then it became 3-2. The degrees of the Scottish Rite are 31, 32, 33. And that was part of the reason I was thinking after they did the 31-32 thing on Masonry's birthday, it'd probably go to 3-3 on Sunday. But again, it's the Stan Kroenke piece was missing that. So if you write out in the most simple cipher, if you write out Scottish Rite of Freemasonry in the most simple cipher, it's 325. And that game was 325 days after Brady's birthday. From his last birthday, August 3rd, to the game was 325 days later. Now it ends today, Sunday, 38 days before his upcoming birthday. But the 325 matters. Again, the Council of Nicaea, which is part of the Roman Catholic Church, was in the year 325 AD. And again, this shows the link between the Jesuits and the Masons. Think about the Catholic Church with their beautiful churches, the builders, the Masons, secret societies. Throughout history, these things became intertwined. And again, you can tell, again, the language, the calendar, it was all formulated around this history. It all goes back to at least the 16th century. But anyway, we saw this as a definite possibility the day of Game 5, Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 3-2. And again, we're talking about synced up with the NFL. How many teams in the NFL? 32. American football is credited the Scottish Rite Freemason, Walter Camp. In the most simple cipher, the letters for NFL are 32. So, little ritual with Tom Brady there, no doubt about it. Again, he's kind of one of those epicenters of sports, just like LeBron, and the rituals with them cross beyond the leagues that they play in, as we've documented for years. But just think about it again. March Madness. And remember, it was the 83rd March Madness tournament. The 83rd March Madness. Michigan, Brady's old school, beats Colorado State to start it. And again, Brady's 7-3 in Super Bowls right now. He's trying to get to 8-3. Colorado, in the most simple ciphers, 83. They end up winning the Stanley Cup against Tampa 38 days before Brady's upcoming birthday. You know what I mean? So, yes, sorry if you guys lost on the pick tonight. I was thinking it was going to Game 7, but that's the thing. Live and learn, and that's why you always play smart. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. Stay with the knowledge. Stay consistent. You'll win a lot more than you lose. And again, when you're missing those puzzle pieces, you can be missing the winning clue. Stan Kroenke is who they clearly scripted this around. And again, from the Super Bowl, he owns the Rams and the Avalanche. From the Super Bowl to the championship 133 days later. And going to have to look more into Stan Kroenke and his history. Must be somehow in this Jesuit network. We know they don't play around with the 266 in the time of the 266th Pope. But, just the other pattern is he's 74 years old right now, and it's 33 days before his upcoming birthday. If you're new here, 74-33. Always teaching about how those numbers are paired together. If you download my ebook, or you can also buy it, but you can pay for it to download. You can download for free. There's all sorts of ways to get my book, but I made it free to download. If you go to my website, GematriaEffect.News, top pin post, scroll down, you'll see the link to download the ebooks for free. If you download the one that looks like this, Number Games, right in the first chapter, I start off with why they do the rituals with 74 and 33. And again, it has everything to do with the Masons and the Society of Jesus. And here's the latest example. So there's probably a lot more to this. It is. I asked Sweet Lady if I can sneak on here and do a video real quick. So I just want to get this information out while the championship is fresh. Again, for those of you guys with the knowledge, take it and decode it further, because I'm sure there's a lot more to this ritual, and there's probably a greater clue for the upcoming football season. I got to turn over a few stones on Russell Wilson. Again, he went to Colorado on 3/8. And then Brady, 5 days later, comes out of retirement right after the 83rd March Madness bracket comes out, as his former school plays the first game against Colorado State. Again, this stuff's not an accident. It's all script. It's all ritual. It's all riddle. And again, it should remind you of the Society of Jesus. How did Jesus speak in the Bible? He spoke in parables, which are riddles. So if you can put the pieces together right, you can win. And and even where you go wrong, I mean, you can still look in seconds if you were missing a clue like tonight and go, oh, okay, I see what they did. So we'll leave it there for now. And we'll be back soon.